for more on when to lift the lockdown. We're joined by Yossi Sheffi, a professor at M.I.T. and director of the Center for Transportation and Logistics there. He's an expert on systems optimization, risk analysis, and supply chain management. Yossi, thanks so much for joining us. Many Americans, indeed many people around the world, are going stir-crazy at home. I know I am. Some saying the shutdowns, the shut-ins are too extreme. Your thoughts?
It's not too extreme. That's what needed to be done. In fact, I live in Massachusetts where the numbers are still going up, and we are not going to get close to the flattening of the curve, so to speak, until the end of April. And we are now talking about how to apportion ventilators and other equipment to people who may have a higher chance of live or even running a lottery. So we are still in the midst of it. I do not think that opening by May 1st is realistic at all. I mean, it's furthermore, I'm not trying to be political here or anything, but the issue that maybe some of the government don't realize is it doesn't matter what the proclamation you make. I am not going to go into an airplane or go into a movie theater, and neither would you, if tomorrow President Trump will announce the end of the pandemic or whatever, or opening the economy. It's going to open over slow time, over a long time. There will be resurgence of the virus. We'll see it in Spain, not in 2 weeks. It will take a lot longer because in 2 weeks people will still keep social distance, but these things will deteriorate over time, and then we'll see another resurgence in a month, in 2 months. So we'll have to wait.
You're an expert on supply chains. What's been the bigger issue in the U.S., food supply chains or medical supply chains?
Medical supply chain for sure. Food supply chain, the food is absolutely going. Look, there are spot shortages for sure. You may not get the right cereal that you want. You may not get the right milk that you want. But there's no issue of literally missing stuff. So many of the pictures that we see on television and on in the print media are pictures of empty aisles at the end of the day, not realizing that you come to the same supermarket in the morning, at the beginning of the day, everything is full because supermarkets are always replenish overnight. Medical supply is something else. The medical supply in the United States is let me use a technical term, it's a fiasco. I mean, the idea that we do not have in this country enough PPEs, enough masks, enough ventilators, enough gowns for healthcare workers, for police, for EMT, for fire. It's just...
And Yossi, we've seen some states coming together to try to purchase medical equipment together rather than competing against each other. Why is that happening, and is that not what the federal government is supposed to be doing in the first place?
The emphasis isn't supposed to. Yes, the federal government issued very confusing instructions. They told the state to go on their own and do it, and then they are going and confiscating, in fact, some stuff that the states are procuring. So yes, it would have been much clearer if right at the beginning the U.S. as one would have said the federal government is responsible, we are buying everything. But no, they told the state to buy, and now they realize that the central inventory has been depleted. So now they're trying to get away from the state.
Some have suggested this crisis has exposed the U.S.'s reliance on China for the production of medical supplies and pharmaceutical components. Do you think that's true, and do you think this will change anything going forward?
It is true to some extent. For sure it's true. But it also exposed a lot of other things. Whether it will change, about medical supply, I'm convinced it will change. About other things, it will not. China today is not only a location for low cost, it's a location for a lot of innovation. It's a location, a lot of fast capacity building, something that the Chinese companies are uniquely qualified to do, and people cannot just, and companies cannot just give it up. What we may see is companies may balance. They'll still have 70 or 80% of their procurement in China, but they'll take 20% in North America, in Latin America, in Europe, just to balance the risk. but I don't see moving en masse to North America. Aside from mask, we will need. There's a lot to do with mask, ventilator, other medical supply. It doesn't have to be by moving manufacturing in the United States. It can be, but it also can be by keeping a huge inventory, like we did when we didn't have oil. We kept the strategic petroleum reserve. There was a huge reserve of oil that would use in case the U.S. got into a real crisis. Well, we are in a crisis.
This is that crisis. Yossi Sheffi from MIT, thank you so much for joining us.